have in front of me here a satellite and TV aerial wall plate, which actually also covers, we'll say, the FM and DAB output as well. And it's used when you're splitting back out satellite and TV aerial signals to feed directly into, for instance, a combo box that would have a terrestrial and a satellite feed in. It's used where you only have a single cable in the wall and you have already combined the satellite and TV aerial signals into a single cable. Now I'm going to just give quickly an overview of where this would be used. So if you see on my right hand side here, we have a UHF aerial here, which would be typically used for picking up terrestrial transmissions. In Ireland, for instance, the Fairview RT1 and 2 channels, for instance. And below we have a satellite dish here, which would normally be used, let's say, for picking up channels like the BBCs, etc. So what we have is, in the normal course of events, we run two cables down from these directly to a satellite receiver and also, let's say, a Fairview receiver. But sometimes we're left in a scenario where we only have a single cable in the wall, so it can be advantageous to join together the two signals into a single cable and then split them back out at a later point. And particularly if the house is pre-wired with a single cable, this can be very, very helpful. So let's just see how we do that. Well, what I have in my hand here pre-wired is we have a satellite TV aerial combiner. So what we're doing here is we're taking in one feed, on the high frequency side a satellite feed, and on the lower frequency side terrestrial aerial, and we combine the two signals from the satellite dish and the TV aerial I just showed you into a single cable. So then this single cable, for instance, is pre-wired into a wall, and we run it down to our main living room. And what we want to do at that point is we want to split the signal back out into its component parts. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use this cable here as if it's the cable that's coming out from the wall, and we want to just use this in conjunction with this faceplate. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do an overview of how to wire it. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to grab this Phillips screwdriver here, and we need to take off this screw that's holding on the faceplate. So I'll just have loosened it here with this Phillips screwdriver. I'll take off the faceplate, lift it up, and if we look in here, we can see that there's two screws here. There's a flathead and a Phillips here. So this Phillips here would be for catching the core wire, which we can see here. And this part here, the saddle part here, will be for locking onto the actual outside braiding. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pick up my flathead screwdriver here. And I'm just going to loosen this off here, so it's slightly awkward here, not a great screwdriver for this job. Anyway, I'll loosen it off like this, and I'll repeat the same process here. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm simply going to pick up this cable, I'm going to push it through here, so you can see it here. And we have it pushed in here. And I grab this Phillips screwdriver, so hopefully I'm not blocking your view totally. And I've just screwed this in. So I'm locking down in that core cable that I showed you previously. And we can just see here, it's quite tightly locked in there. Now the vital thing here is to make sure that we have a good connection on both the core wire in here and the earth wires out here, and that the earth wires and the core wires are not touching, okay? So at this point here then, we have it actually, the signal from the aerial and the satellite has been fed back in, and we could actually wire this back onto the wall, okay? And we could take the satellite feed from this side, and then the terrestrial TV aerial feed from this side, and feed it, we'll say, directly to feed, for instance, a combo box, okay? So it works extremely well. I suppose this faceplate here is made by Perception, which is part of Blake's UK. We find it very, very good. The one slight disadvantage I have on this is that the back on it is a little bit thicker than I'd like. So it fits into most faceplates, but not all, or it can be a little bit sticking out from the wall, but generally it's quite a good fit, okay? And you can see it actually comes with the screws here for bolting it into the face or the socket that will be on the wall. Now, just in conjunction with this, another way that it's quite commonly used, particularly in, we'll say, nursing homes and hotels, etc., is that if we're combining a satellite and terrestrial feed using this multi-switch here. So this multi-switch takes a feed from a Quattro LNB and a satellite dish, so it just feeds in 4 cables, and takes another cable then from a UHF aerial, and in this case it splits it off to a total of 8 televisions. But multi-switches can also come in 8 and 32-way versions that we stock on the TV Trade website. And the idea here is that you can feed quite a large number of televisions off a single satellite dish in an aerial. But in each case, in each room, you could come along and you could use this faceplate here to split the signal back out. Now, one final point I'm going to note is that, interestingly, the combiners here that we use generally for combining, let's say, in a domestic environment, a TV aerial and a satellite dish together, they can also be used in reverse to actually split a satellite and a terrestrial signal back out, so it can actually be used to feed a satellite TV area. Most people don't use these in their living rooms simply because they're not overly attractive, but this faceplate does an excellent job, and it fits a lot better into the wall plate. So that's it anyway, an overview of the satellite and TV aerial wall plate available on the tvtrade.ie website.